So hello and welcome to another episode of Steam's Four Wheels. Now today this should be an episode on Project 446, my £446 Mini, except it isn't. You may have seen probably over a week ago now, when you're watching this, that I've actually sold the Mini. And I just want to do a little bit more of an in-depth chat about actually why I've sold it, and there's basically one good reason to why I've sold it. So I obviously bought Project 446 to basically have a project for the channel almost. So I fancied something different anyway. I obviously sold my new SLK. I thought perhaps I could get something a little bit different at the right price. So it isn't a Mercedes. I mean, I can still is interesting. And this little Mini popped up in auction. I thought that's perfect. So I ended up sticking around there, getting it for £350 plus auction fees and all that blah blah. We all know the story about that part now anyway. So my goal for that project was to do the car up, get it cosmetically white. I think the majority of what needed to be done in that car was cosmetic. It just needed a big service of the mechanical stuff. Possibly do that up in the next sort of over winter, get it back to a nice state by next spring, possibly use it during the summer, and then possibly look at moving that car on. As much as I like that car, and it's a really nice car, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a car that I potentially wanted to keep forever. Maybe if it was a Cooper S or John Cooper Works, then I might possibly look at keeping it a bit more long term. So it wasn't going to be a forever car with me. Now, I've obviously been making some videos and doing posts about this on my social media at the Mini. And a friend of mine recently sold one of his cars, and he said that I actually wants something a little more usable than the car he had. And he was looking around, he's thinking about it for a few months now. And obviously I bought my Mini, and then he said, I quite actually like the Minis, the R50 Mini. I really would like to have one and do it up. I really like yours. If I can find one close to yours, I'll be really happy. Now, of course, me not wanting necessarily to keep this car for long term, and him wanting a car where he's similar, I thought, well, he could go out and buy another car that's not as good or not mechanically as sound or have loads of problems. At least I got to know the Mini a bit over the few weeks I had it. And I got to know that actually it's a decent car. You know, mechanically it was sound. It obviously needed a bit of bodywork, but nothing too major. So I sort of offered him the car, and I said, well, you can have it for X amount of money. If you're interested, that seems a fair price for you and for me. And yeah, he came down, had a look at the car. He obviously watched all the videos, seen all the posts. Obviously even did a little walk around video for him. Just explain to her in the car and explain some of the issues in a bit more detail. And he was really happy with it. So he came down, looked at the car, took him out in it for a little test drive, and I was driving. And he was out in the passenger seat, and he got sort of a little bit of a feel for the car almost. He'd just been in the passenger seat. And yeah, we sort of agreed that, yeah, he could buy the car from me. So one of the reasons I actually sold the Mini, because it's a Mini now, people who are passionate about Minis generally will customise them and make them an individual car. So they customise them to their own spec, their own style, their own tastes. And this is kind of the problem with the Mini, is that I was going to go and do it, probably keep it the same. It'll still be a nice car, but I almost feel like everybody wants something different. If I was to sell it on in the future, somebody might want to take it in a slightly different direction and to undo the work that I'd done in it. So I kind of thought, if I was to sell it to my friend now, he could sort of get it as a bit of a blank canvas as such, or in a project state where he could actually do it in a different direction, take it over here in this direction instead of me who might want to go over there. And he's going to keep the car long term. He's planning on doing it up. He's already talking about plans. He's really excited about it, and he's really interested in the car. And he was telling me a lot more sort of facts and information about the car than I sort of knew about. Admittedly, I don't know too much about Minis, but he obviously knew his stuff about them. And I certainly think the car's going to a good home. The fact that he is going to do it over time now, and the fact that he's actually planning on keeping it long term, is not just a quick flick for him either. He has also invited me up to see the car when it's all done, and maybe we'll go for a drive in it or something. So that might be quite nice. Maybe maybe it won't be the last video you see on the Mini. Maybe it'll come back and we'll do a visit up there to where he lives, and we'll go out, take the Mini out for a drive or something, and have a little walk around and see what he's done. So it's the end of Project 446 on this channel. It was a bit of a short-lived project, I will admit. I didn't quite expect to sell it, but hopefully now you understand why. It just felt like the right thing for me to do, and the right thing for me to do for a friend. So yeah, that's why I've sold it basically. Hopefully you understand why I've sold it. Hopefully that makes a bit more sense to you. So as for me and Minis, I have to admit I really like the Mini. I loved the way it drove. It just felt such an engaging car to drive. I'd be almost quite interested in looking at an R53 Cooper S, just because we live in quite a hilly area. We live in the countryside, and some of the areas are quite hilly around us. And the only thing I found with the Cooper, it did struggle up some of the sort of steeper hills that we have around here. It's only 115, 160 horsepower was the Cooper, so it did a good job of getting the hills, but I personally would like something just that little bit more powerful just to get me up them hills. I'm no speed demon by any means, but yes, I did want something a little bit more powerful if I was going to get long term. So who knows, maybe another Mini might come this way soon, you never know. So it's going to be goodbye from me, goodbye from the V-Class, and we will see you next time.